Hey everybody, David from Flash by V Cycle Nut here. So I had a customer send me this 2022 gorgeous XSR900. He wants me, I'm going to remove the stock pipe. I have a Spark system to put on it. I'm going to do the Airbox mod and put a Sprint filter in it, and then give it my mail-in flash. And then he's going to have somebody come and pick it up and deliver it back to him. I just picked up my 24 MT09 yesterday. Got 130 miles on it, but only a couple heat cycles. So I'm big on heat cycles, more so than miles. So I'm going to take the opportunity. Customer gave me permission to ride the bike, his XSR. So I'm going to ride them back to back, put another heat cycle on my MT09, and get the impressions of how this XSR 900 feels, because it has a competitor's flash on it with the stock pipe. So, you know, not every day I get to ride one of my competitors' flashes and see how I like it. So, let's see how it goes. So, when I took the bike for a ride, I was really kind of shocked how bad it felt. It was still really buzzy, about 5,000 RPMs. Neutral throttle was pretty hard to find, and I kind of chalked this up to like, oh, it's just they do dyno only tuning, and this is typically what you find, that it runs well when you're really into the throttle, but the nuances of part throttle and steady state throttle aren't as finely tuned. So then I thought, well, I got it here. Let me put it up on the dyno and see what it has. And that's what it has, which it looks very similar to what it would look like stock. Now, this is a really well-known company that is, to put it bluntly, pretty loud about putting other tuners down in the industry. I know, I can tell the ECU's flash because the fans kick on early. I checked after this dyno run, and the idle did kind of things that the bike doesn't do stock, like hang a little bit when you're moving. It just, you could tell something was done in the ECU, but not much. So, yeah, this is the results with what the customer paid for, the other company with their flash. So then I thought, well, what the hell? I got the bike on the dyno already. Let me just load in my normal mail-in flash, no adjustments, and this is what I got. So you can see pretty big improvement from theirs. And again, this is not adjusting. This is just loading my normal mail-in flash. All right, so now that we got some baseline numbers with what it's making with the stock pipe, let's start working on it. So first thing we're going to do is pull the tank off to get to the air. So I removed the key with the seat, or the seat with the key, and then removed there was a little push pin thing there, and then these are just quarter turn fasteners, and these are everybody's favorite, where you hold the outside and spin this real carefully, and the center comes out. Ooh, look at that. And once the center comes up, you just pull them out. Now we have the 4 Allen heads holding that front cover. There's a plastic little push pin on each side. You push the center out and they pop out. And now 4 Allen bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 1 like that on the other side. I put a little rag over the bracket so I can put the tank on the other side. You just unplug the fuel pump there. The fuel line has that little clip that you just, I took a flat blade screwdriver, put it in there, spun it, and that pulled the clip down, and I could pull the fuel line off. And I just took the drain line, the vent lines right with it. I hate those, getting them off. They got them silly little clamps that you squeeze. And now we're looking at the top of the airbox. So when he took the ECU out to send it to the other company, he broke the little tabs on the connector, so he's using wire ties to hold it in. He told me about that, but we're just gonna do that. And then we're gonna remove all the bolts around the edge of the airbox lid. And that's the stock airbox lid. Compare the modified airbox to the stock airbox. First thing we do is we just drill out these little plastic screws, and these trumpets lift off. So whenever people hear about airbox mod, they think like drilling giant holes and doing all kinds of shit. This is pretty minor. We're not doing anything that makes big giant holes. All we're doing is giving the air a more direct route to the motor to make it more efficient. So on the top side, we're removing those snorkels, just kind of giving it a quicker, easier route. And on the bike, this one's like right up against the tank, so there's no way it's breathing real easy. On the bottom side, again, we're just giving it a more direct route and cutting the snorkels. And if we look at this, if we put the stock air filter in there, you can see that the air has to go all the way to the bottom of the airbox and swirl around and then to just get to the edge of the filter. So when I cut them, now the cut measurement's not that as like super hypercritical to get it, but what we're doing is just making it so that it can come straight out and run straight through that filter. So this is just an efficiency thing. Air, more straight path. If anything, the velocity should stay just as good, if not higher. We're not doing anything that will allow more water in. This is just more direct, straight flow of the. Don't want to forget to talk about the air temperature sensor. So that just clicks onto that little thing and spins over to the side, and that's how it lifts off. So let's make sure we put that back in its place. The lid's back on, the air temperature probe or sensor's back on, the ECU's back in. We're gonna put the tank back on, just reverse those steps. So on to removing the stock exhaust, which is pretty straightforward on these. I got my wideband O2 sensor in there, so obviously I'm gonna remove that. This bike has cruise control, so we are gonna put the stock O2 sensor back in. And basically, the only like, you know, kind of weird thing I do when I put exhaust on these is I remove this bolt here and the one from the other side so I can swing the radiator out of the way. And then all the bolts are pretty dang easy to get to. So let's get it done. So once I removed those two bolts and pulled the lower radiator off the mount, which it just pulls off, I was able to get to the 6 header bolts really easily. And then O2 sensor's out, and we have a bolt back there and one on the other side, and this heavy boat anchor should be ready to come. That's actually the bolt for the exhaust on this side, not back there. That one right there. That one. Hard to see it up there, but I did have to loosen the bracket that holds the bottom of the radiator. Just loosen it from the other end to give it a little play, so that the new exhaust or the old exhaust, stock exhaust, would come out. It's kind of hanging up on it. So we're gonna put some new gaskets up there. Not really needed, but since I have it off and I have them, and I just use a couple dabs of grease to hold them in place while I put the new header on. So we're gonna loosely then install the pretty new header. It's all wrapped up in here. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, that's not it. I gotta go get it. So got the Spark all on, cleaned it all with alcohol, make sure we don't get any fingerprints. The way I ended up putting it on was I put the 3 headers together, not on the collector, but just the 3 pieces together themselves. It's obvious where they go because of the crossover tubes with the flanges, and then just put them on loose and then worked my way back. This is the only other really hard bolt. And then I tightened up all the flanges and worked my way back, and it fits really well. Let's see what she sounds like. Pretty good. I like it. That is with the DB killer in. The customer ordered the DB killer. So we put that in. I'm going to load my normal mail-in flash, do a few dyno pulls, and make some small adjustments for them if necessary. And let's see how it goes. So when we compare how it arrived to how it's leaving, see really nice gains all the way across. Well, way improved throttle response, much smoother running, above 5,000 RPMs, just a better all-around running bike. Made a couple little small 1% to 2% adjustments because I had it up there, yeah, I'm sure the customer's gonna be really happy. I'm happy with how it turned out. And good stuff. So thanks guys for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe and like button for more motorcycle related content.